Hello Wargamers and welcome to another Wargame Red Dragon video with me, Bubblebox, and today we've got maybe an unusual kind of deck build, the Anzac Mechanised. And the reason for building this one is I got online, and as you'll see I put another video out exactly the same time as this video showing the gameplay using this deck. So you can, if you don't want to watch the deck build, you can go straight to the video showing the gameplay if you want. I'll put that in the description below, so you can just click on it. But I got together with, who was I playing with? Silver Raptor, but also we were playing with Mbets and Val, who are good Conquest players, and we wanted to have a nice game, but we were a little bit stacked, so we decided to use what we considered to be a fairly unusual and fairly difficult to use deck. So I decided to use the Anzac Mechanised deck. It was all a bit of a rush. I made this deck in about 5 minutes. I made it really quickly, and I thought we'd have a look at it in a bit of a slower pace and have a look at the units available to the Anzac Mechanised. Val was using the Anzac Motorized, Mbets was using the Anzac Airborne, and Silver Raptor General Anzac. So check that video out if you want to see the gameplay. But let's have a look at the deck I built for this particular game. So first of all, we'll skip through the logistics fairly quickly because this is fairly standard for Conquest. I think I got myself a command tank just in case he was needed on the front line to capture an area that we were fighting over. Then I also got, for the other kind of for the other capture points, got myself some command infantry on this cute little Unimog vehicle that we've got there. So that was only 5 points, so that's a total of only 105 points for those. Then I got myself some Mancatties. I got the more expensive Mancatty 6x6s. I quite like those with their reasonable level of supply, and also some Chinooks just for that flexibility that I like to have in my deck. So pretty standard for Conquest, I think. Now the infantry tab though for the Anzac Mechanised is much more interesting, and although I do consider the Anzacs to be a fairly underpowered coalition in the game, the infantry aren't too shabby, especially for Conquest. So they've got some one set of elites, and these are the SASRs. So I've got 2 sets of those because we can have lots of infantry in Mechanised decks. So I've got 2 sets of those. You could only bring them in the Chinooks, and the Chinooks have got a little minigun. A little bit expensive, maybe at 35 or 40, 50 points a whack. I got them in at, you can only get them at Hardened. Yes, I got them in at Hardened. 2 stacks of 10 as well, so you get quite a lot. But a bit expensive perhaps for the start of a Conquest game, but we got those in. Now then, the others that I got, there's a variety of kind of regular infantry that you can use, but or shock infantry should I say, but I've got the Commando 90s. Now these aren't too shabby at all. They're 20 points, and you get a little machine gun toting vehicle to go along with it. In fact, it's got 2 machine guns. So that's not too bad for 5 points as well. Gives you a bit of fire support. And yeah, I just think these are actually quite good. They've got a decent-ish rate of fire. I've got a little close quarters combat machine gun, all for 20 points, and a little vehicle there. So 25 points to bring a set of these in. Bring them in maybe in stacks of 2. That's 20, 40, 50 points at the start of a game. So they'll be quite useful. And I managed to get 3 sets of them, and they're already at veteran status as well. So I've got 30 of those. I got some of the Milans, not the best ATGM, but they have still got an AP power of 17, so it's not too bad, and they're only 10 points. So again, cheap and cheerful for the Anzacs in terms of their ATGM infantry, and they come once again in the little trucks. Now I also got some napalm units. I don't normally get napalm, but I figured these will be able to support my Commando 90s. So if I've got these to stun the units and the Commando 90s to kill the units, then they'll probably work quite well in combination. They also are a strength of 10 as well, so they're fairly robust, and they come. They bought these in the little minigun trucks as well that cost 10 points this time. But minigun will fire fairly rapidly, well, very rapidly, 1,000. I did get 2 stacks of the Milans. I got that last stack of Milans because I couldn't think of what else to get, so I got 2 stacks of Milans. Probably won't use all those Milans, but I've got those anyway. So there are a couple of other options. They've got some diggers here, which are your basic line infantry, just your regulars. I just thought they'd be just a bit too squishy, so I wanted something a little bit more robust, which is why I went for the Commando 90s with their shock training. So didn't go for the diggers, but you could go for some diggers, maybe some digger 90s. Might do okay. There's also some MRAWs, which I could have taken, I guess. Maybe I could have got a set of these instead of one of the sets of Milans, because these are offer a good far support as well, with the little HE toting Carl Gustavs, which will also shoot decent AP power as well. So I could have got a set of them, but they're only 5. I also, I guess, could have got some RBSs as well, probably. Again, remember, I made this deck in 5 minutes. I really rushed through it, and in retrospect, probably could swap out maybe some Assault Pioneers for some RBS 70s in this particular deck. So a little bit of a review of my own particular critique of my own deck there. Okay, so let's move on to the support tab. So in the support tab, we're a little bit limited with a mechanized deck on artillery, but we're fairly okay-ish for AA, especially rocket AA. So got a couple of sets of track rapier FSAs, and because I had a number of slots I could fill, got them vetted up. So these are already hardened. So we've got some hardened FSAs to shoot down at the aircraft, and we've got some hardened rapiers to shoot at the helicopters, or those who also shoot at airplanes as well, of course, as well the FSA shoot at choppers. But they've both got their specific roles. So 2 sets of each, all at hardened. Oh, did I not get? Yeah, all at hardened. Now I did go for a set of these 50-point kind of arty mortars. Arty mortars are kind of a combination between an artillery and a mortar. I guess they're artillery really. I guess they have got quite a wide dispersion, but it was either those or the basic mortar, so I went for these. They look okay actually. I've never really used these much, but look forward to trying those out maybe. Now the tank department in the Anzac Mechanised is very, very limited. No heavies to speak of, no super heavies, just some mediums and some really old-fashioned World War II tanks. So I went for the best that was on offer, which are these Leopard AS1 Plus. They've got an okay-ish for 50. They're kind of okay for 55 points, I guess. Armour's a little bit limiting, but what do you expect for 55 points? But they've got a decent-ish AP power of 16. They're not going to be able to... If they come up against big tanks, they're going to get slaughtered. So I've got 2 sets of those, and again I got those up to hardened as well. I also got a spam tank. I quite like the Scorpion light tank. It's kind of a funny little looking little thing. Actually, I quite like the look of it. I've seen one of these in real life as well at a museum, I have to say, and they look pretty cool. So I got a load of them. They're only 20 points, but they are definitely a spam tank. They do have an HE power of 2 as well, AP power of 10. So maybe you can get round. They're very fast, so maybe you can get round the enemy and get side shots, etc. And they will support infantry, of course, as well. So a couple of sets of those. I just got them at the basic trained, yeah. Reconnaissance. Again, a little bit limited on the reconnaissance. We've got some okay, but it's cheap reconnaissance. So you can kind of tell where we're going here. You've got cheap reconnaissance. It's not going to cost too much to get in, but it's not over effective reconnaissance. It's not the greatest reconnaissance. I did get some choppers. Probably the best optics for the Anzacs, with very good optics. They are 50 points. They've got a little minigun, which probably not going to use. So 50 points for a chopper recon with only a strength of 4 is a little bit expensive, but and the speed's only 220 as well. But I've got a set of those in case I needed those. But my mainstay is going to be the Aslav 25s. I was tossing up between the Aslav 25s and the Aslav S. The Aslav S is 55 points. You get a kind of a gun that you can use on it. But for these, I'm probably not looking to use the gun too much. And I noted also that the Aslav 25s can shoot against helicopters a bit with a range of 1,575. So use those for spotting, maybe pushing back our helicopters if they come too close with the Bushmaster. Rather than spend twice as much and getting an Aslav S, we'll go for the Aslav 25s. It's only good optics, whereas the Aslav S is an exceptional optics, but I could have got one of each, I guess. I could have got one of each instead of getting 2 sets of Aslav 25s, but they're very cheap. I mean, 10 points. I mean, you know, you can bring these out all day. Then I got some infantry recon, the only one really available, the Norforce. Just your standard spotters, really, not really good for any close combat or anything like that. And I bought them in the little truck, which is also can be used as a recon vehicle with good optics as well. So you've got two for the price of one there for 30 points. Again, I could have done away with, oh, let's get the right one up, there it is. I could have done away with the recon vehicle and just gone for the kind of infantry support carrier for 5 points instead of paying an extra 10 points for the recon vehicle, but I went for the recon vehicle with the recon inside it. So that's my recon. Vehicles. We've got a decent unit, yeah, in the vehicles tab. We've got the Vickers. So the Vickers is a nice unit. Looks pretty decent. Really long barreled gun. Really does go completely over the top of the truck, but they are good. They've got a decent range. They've got very good accuracy and stabilizer as well, so they can fire on the move, and they've got a very good AP power, and they've got a good HE power, and it's all for 45 points. They've even thrown in a little bit of armor, and they can shoot at helicopters. So a really nice all-round compact unit that's going to be very, very useful in conquest games, especially. I've also gone for the best ATGM. Now I'm really, oh, I didn't think it had a barrel, then it has. I'm really limited on what I can do against tanks with this deck. So I've got these 45 points. They've got TOW2s, which are very good anti-tank weapons. As long as these things can get shots off first and hit first, they should kind of hold their own, I'm hoping. I do only get 8 of them, but that should be enough. Did I get them vetted up? Hopefully I did. Yes, I did. I got them vetted up as well, which improves their chance of hitting first time. And just for the sake of filling up my deck, I've got some Wombats with the recoilless rifles. They're only 10 points, but they do shoot at infantry as well. So if you can get these up close to infantry with a range of 1,925, they will do some serious damage with an HE power of 3 and only 10 points. I keep saying only 10 points. Only 10 points for an AP weapon and a strength of 3 HE power against infantry as well. So not a bad weapon, and I get 21 of them. So yeah, wow. Helicopters, very, very limited. Only one to choose from. I got it. It's the Bush Ranger. I got it vetted up as well, or hardened, whatever it is. I think it's hardened, yeah. So it's got quite a nice rocket pod. 70mm heat rockets, 14 of them. So that's not too bad. And a minigun for follow-up. And then the aircraft tab, finally, isn't too bad. I quite like Kahoos. I could have got 1 elite, or I could have got 3 at trained. Went for 3 at trained. These are pretty decent because, and the reason I got 3 at trained is their accuracy is 60% already, and I find these things don't miss that often, and they do fire off 2 missiles at a time. So I'd rather go for 3 trained on this rather than 1 elite, just to get that little bit of increased accuracy and stuff. So they are a little bit slow. They only go at 600 kilometers per hour. But they do only cost 125 points, so this is really my mainstay defense against those big super heavies. Get in there, get some side shots on those super heavies that are coming towards my poor Anzac units that can't fend for themselves if they come up against big massive tanks. So I think you're going to be seeing these used quite a lot, these Kahoos. I've also got a really nice bomber, of course, in the deck. We're all familiar with this, the F11 or F111. Four huge 1,000-pound bombs will decimate anything that they land upon. So yeah, definitely got 3 of those in the deck. Very nice. And then the mainstay for my air superiority, these guys, they're only 90 points, but having a close look at them, they're not too shabby because you do get 5 of them. Okay, so I could have got 4 hardened or 5. I went for 5 rookies. Maybe in retrospect, I should have gone for 4 hardened, but I went for 5 rookies, so you can kind of spam these out a little bit. Don't matter if one gets shot down. If you manage to take out a PU, if you've got 3 or 4 of these running towards a PU and you lose one of these, it's no big deal. So yeah, quite a decent. Got 7,000 meter range. Accuracy is only 40%, but they don't look too bad. Speed 900. Got the Hornets just so that we've got another bomber in the deck, and I wanted to spend lots on aircraft as well because there's not a lot else in the deck that I wanted, so I went for the aircraft for these last 2 slots because I had the points left over. Went for the Hornets, got a bomber it can kind of defend itself a little bit in air as well, in air-to-air combat as well. So yep, got those. And then finally we got the Mirages. I'm not sure how effective these are going to be. I've actually never used these in game, I don't think. These are kind of the last thing I put into my deck. Got these strange looking R530s with a range of unusual range for the game of 5,600. Not too brilliant on the accuracy or the stabilizer, or sorry, on the accuracy rather. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll probably bring our Phantoms in before we bring these guys in. These guys are 70 points a piece. Might be useful for shooting down helicopters maybe. They go not too fast and they've got a couple of anti-helicopter, a missile and a gun. So that's it, guys. That is my Anzac mechanized deck. I'm going to be putting this up at exactly the same time as I put the gameplay up. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please do comment below. Let me know what you think. I did put a few comments about units I maybe should have put in. Put your comments down below as well. And give me a like if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in the next one.